Listen, Kev, what are you so worried about? You know Mom's gonna pack your stuff anyway. You're what the French call les incompetents. What?
So here we are on the big day, we're cooking a turkey. Now, there's so many debates and ways to do this. I wanted to make it as simple and as foolproof as possible. The reality is, this is a hard thing to do. The shape of the bird makes it pretty much impossible for it to cook evenly. The breast meat cooks quicker than the dark meat. The dark meat needs to get to a certain high temperature in order for it to break down and become tender. You can wet brine, you can dry brine, you can truss it or not. People stuff it, people don't stuff it. So many variables and things to consider. A while back, I had the same problem with chicken. And one of the main problems I find personally that I've always encountered with turkey is getting the underside of the turkey to get color. It's usually pale, and a lot of the time, if there's some part that's undercooked, it's right at the bottom because there's no air kind of circulating below it. It never sees any sort of dry heat. That's the same problem I've had with chickens in the past, and so a while back, I tried this technique of cooking a chicken on the breast side down first, and then flipping it over and finishing on top, sort of recreating a rotisserie and allowing the bottom to almost sear and sort of get some heat on to kind of start convecting heat inside the bird and cooking that part of it. And so I wanted to do that with the turkey, but the issue was keeping the breast meat and skin protected. People cook it on grates, or if it's on the pan, it can stick to it and tear. I was Googling upside down turkey and found that Martha Stewart had suggested one, and the way that she does it is by using bread to protect it, buttering up the bread really well, and so that's going to keep the turkey breast moist while it's cooking. The dark meat is getting browned, and then we can flip it upside down and lower the temperature and cook the breast meat a little more gently. The goal here that we're trying to achieve is minimizing the cooking of the breast while cooking the legs and the dark meat to a high enough temperature to make them tender and kind of delicious. It's tricky, but I think flipping it upside down is going to achieve that. So I've got my bird. Now, the first thing we have to talk about is wet brine versus dry brine. I've historically always wet brined it, but it's a big pain in the neck. You need like gallons of water, boxes of salt, big enough place to refrigerate it. My friends over at Adrenaline Barbecue Company taught me about dry brining, and so now I'm a convert. So you're going to use a half a teaspoon of kosher salt per pound of meat when dry brining anything. So this is a 13-pound turkey, so I used 6 teaspoons of salt, kosher salt. It's different if you're using table salt. It's quarter teaspoon per pound. I covered it with salt all over the skin, all inside the cavity, all on the underside, and that salt's gonna penetrate. Salt is a mineral, right? So it's not a spice. So it's going to actually dissolve and make its way deep into the meat if you give it enough time. So we salted it, we put it in the refrigerator without any sort of covering, cleaned out the fridge, made sure nothing was gonna touch it and that it wasn't gonna contaminate anything. And now as you can see, this skin has sort of darkened, it's shrunken up, it's totally dry. Took it out of the refrigerator about an hour ago and patted it dry. A little paper towel underneath it to suck up any moisture that it may leak off. And we're just gonna butter it. We're not even gonna put pepper on it. We're not gonna salt it again. And we're gonna get it in a hot oven upside down. And that's really it. We're gonna really make this simple. Then we're gonna take the pan juices, take our stock that we made, and we're gonna make a gravy. Thanksgiving dinner is gonna be put on the table. You're gonna be the star this year. So let's just get into it. We got some work to do. Big piece of ciabatta bread. This is the part that I'm taking from Martha. Thanks, Martha. So we have a nice little bed for the turkey to rest on. Take a stick of butter, half a stick on each side, and just spread it. So we have that well buttered, right? If you host the holidays or you ever have ambitions of hosting, you're gonna need one of these. This is an all-clad roasting pan. This is a top of the line. All-clad is the best. It's pricey. I'd invest in one. You're gonna use it. You could keep this literally for the rest of your life if you just get a good one. So it's one of those things that's worth investing. And then you're just gonna take it and throw it in like that. Cut up a lemon into 4s. So I got my turkey. The necks and the giblets are out. They were taken out yesterday to use in the stock. We just want to stuff the turkey with some sage, thyme, and rosemary. And then a half of the lemon. Just gonna throw the other 2 lemons wherever I can. And take a head of garlic and just kind of smash it, and then just kind of throw it in there. And now we're just gonna rub butter all over the bird, another stick of butter. Because we dry brined it and we left it in the refrigerator uncovered, that skin is nice and dry and it's gonna be nice and crispy, just like we want it. Oh, and another thing, we've got to remove the wishbone, which is optional. You don't have to do this, but I prefer doing it. It makes it easier to cut, and it's very simple. You just want to go into the back side. So right here is the wishbone. So I'm just gonna take my knife and just scrape. Find the bone, and then just kind of cut it out. So I pulled the wishbone out. You want to get it literally all up in every cavity. Just massage it into the skin. And then just a little bit of olive oil too. And then this is it. We're gonna put this into the oven at 425 degrees. It's been preheating there, and we're gonna cook this for about 45 minutes to an hour on top, and then flip it. But right now, this bird's ready to go into the oven, so let's pop it in. Already crispy. It's been in there for 45 minutes. Since it's sitting in the oven sideways, you just have to turn it. I turned it every probably 10 minutes, just so I made sure I got even browning. Now I'm just gonna flip it and then oil the top again, just so we can achieve that nice browning as well on the other side. Just wanna tuck the wings in. So now I'm gonna put an internal probe thermometer to 2 spots of the bird. The dark meat, and then the bird came with one of those little pins in it that I took out. I'm just gonna stick it right back in where it was. Make sure you don't hit any bones. I'm gonna pull the bird out when the breast reaches about 155, 160. It should carry over cook 5 to 10 degrees at the temperature that we're cooking. And we want the internal temp of the breast to be around 160, 165 is perfect. And we want those legs to be closer to like 180. We want that connective tissue to break down and for them to kind of get tender. Another way you can tell is if the legs just kind of wiggle and can almost pull apart and the juices run clear. That's usually a sign that things are good as well. But now we're just gonna sit for about 2.5, 3 hours. We'll wait for the bird to be perfect. We already got a head start. Thighs are up at 130, 137, breast at 90. The breast is gonna start catching up soon. So it's gonna even out, which is what I wanted. So here's the beauty of this method. The thighs are at 170. They're cooked. They're all the way through cooked. And the breast meat is still underdone. And that's a beautiful thing because the dark meat, the longer it cooks, the more tender it gets. But we still have to wait for the breast to get to at least 155 degrees. If we take it off at 155, it'll at least rest to 160 degrees, which is like the perfect temperature that a chef would probably serve it to you. I would personally stay in the range of 160 to 165 on the breast if you know that your leg meat is perfect. So right now we're not worried about cooking the leg meat or that the whole bird being cooked. We're just worrying about a perfect breast. So we're just gonna wait till it gets to about 155 and then we're gonna pull it. Crispy, crispy. Have a cheat tray with a wire rack. I want to drain out all the juices from inside. Honestly, this might be the best part. This is just bread soaked in turkey fat. That's like the best part. Just want to take out all the solids. They're all charred up and we don't need them anymore. Squeeze out the lemon, any of that lemon juice. Garlic, squeeze them out. Just want to pour a little bit in there. My turkey stock. I just want to put in there and just scrape up all that stuff. Just clean the bottom of the pan with that sauce. Get all those bits up. That's all that turkey flavor. Don't wash the pan. You're gonna make the gravy in this pan though. You just need to get all that stuff out of there. We're just gonna let the fat separate off that. Then I'm just gonna add that back into the stock. So that's the fat. I'm gonna use that in butter to make the roux. So let's talk about roux and gravy. You want a lot of it, you want a ton of it. That's why we made a ton of stock. And so the way you make it is by making a roux, right? The general rule of thumb is like 1 tablespoon of flour and 1 tablespoon of fat per 1 cup of liquid. We're probably just gonna use one of these. So for one of these, it's like 4 cups. I'll use 4 tablespoons of flour and 4 tablespoons of butter. And you can always just add more roux if you're making more. We like to make like double the amount just to make sure we never run out of gravy, because that's the worst thing you can do. You could do all this stuff to make it flavorful, but we're just gonna do it super simple and get this bird ready, not to overcomplicate things.
What?
But our work is totally not done here. We need to carve this turkey. First thing first, get these legs off. And I'm just gonna cut through the skin. Just cut it all the way down. You'll be able to see how it opens. And you just pop that socket out. And then you can literally just take that. Then cut yourself off a nice drumstick. And just repeat with the other side. And then again, you can find a joint and then just cut right through. The wings do a similar thing. And you have the legs. You get the breastbone right here. You want to just cut right to the side of it. And you can go all the way down because we removed the wishbone. Look how juicy it is. Now what you're gonna do is take the breasts, and then usually people slice it that way, but we're gonna slice it against the grain. What more can you ask for? Well, there you have it. Thanksgiving turkey. So we brine the meat so the meat has flavor and it's salty and moist. We went through the extra step of making our own stock so that our gravy tastes perfect. So that even if we made a mistake on the breasts or on the turkey, you have that thing that just ties it all together that tastes like Thanksgiving no matter what, which is the gravy. So here's the deal. If you have a lot of people you're cooking for and you usually get like a 24-pound turkey, don't do that. Get 2 14-pound or 16-pound turkeys. Smaller turkeys are more tender and they're easier to cook as opposed to these big turkeys. This is not how we make it at home. First time I showed you how to do this, I wanted it to be very basic and easy and simple and approachable for everybody. At home, we take the breast meat off, take the dark meat off, confit the legs. We wrap the 2 breasts together in the skin and then roast them. So we do a whole different thing, and maybe we'll get into that, but now you know how to just get a turkey done. No matter what for Thanksgiving, that's gonna be good. So I hope you enjoy. Thanksgiving's pretty much wrapped up. Now I'm gonna kind of get focused on the next holiday, which is my favorite. And when I see you next, we'll go over how to take all the things we made over the last month and make a leftover sandwich that you are gonna wanna see. Thank you so much for watching. This was one I've been looking forward to, and I hope you find it particularly useful because I know next week every one of you will be cooking one of these, most likely, and I hope you find it useful. I mean, this is definitely a no-fuss way of cooking the turkey. You're not gonna have to worry about undercooking the turkey. You're just gonna have to worry about how to get that breast meat perfect. And if you got a thermometer, which I'll leave a link down in the description below, I'll leave links to kind of the pan and anything I used that was special in this episode. And that's it. I'm gonna go start listening to Christmas music. See you next time, and until then, go feed yourself.